visual spectrum sampling, and of course keeping the equipment up to fully operating parameters enables proper visual spectrum sampling. Hello everyone, Thoranx is here, and welcome back to Mars Horizon, where the Azure Flame space program is in fierce competition and somewhat falling behind on some things. And, keeping pace with others. It's a balance and it's tricky. Let's see. We have a life support test happening. We have good science here. Let's see what kind of requests we have on the moon. Micrometeorites. It doesn't really get me out of bed, if you know what I mean. And we have no requests on Venus or Mercury because, of course, we have not completed any of those missions. So, our active mission currently is our orbital EVA. Trying to get ahead of Japan means we'll need to launch in the next 2 to 3 months. Although even if we fail to be first, I would be remiss. It would stink, given how much we dedicated to beating them. We would at least get second place, which is part of our milestone achievement mission that we're currently at. However, we're not going to think like that. Instead, we're going to think about who is available for this mission. Well, we're going to have to hire some astronauts. Luckily, we have the money. We have some new ones. Navigator with extra navigation, longevity, scientist, 10% science reward, comm specialist, another scientist, and another celebrity. Celebrities are a bit expensive, but that support reward is pretty epic. I think comm specialist is probably a good one. Navigator is probably a good one. I think we're going to end up somewhere in the comms specialist scientist realm. Let's see who our next astronaut is going to be, actually. Oh, okay. It's Kid Caliber. Woo! Way to go. Congratulations. You have been selected. And you will be the comms specialist. Kid Caliber. And you are hired. Next up on the list. The next astronaut to join the Azure Flame space program will be Oriya. Not sure if you prefer Oriya or Oriya May, but I think you just put Oriya, so let's see. I'm thinking the scientist, maybe? Navigator. I go back and forth between the scientist and the navigator. 10% science reward. I think we have a winner. We named the rocket Oriya May, so we'll just, so we'll just name you Oriya, and you're hired. Okay, so that means we have 3 astronauts to send on this crew: Oriya, Kid Caliber, and Darkstar. Congrats, all of you, and now, training. Science reward increase. Max training bonus goes to 50%. This is where we really have... Oh. We would still get a first. We would still get a first, because I believe when you tie on the same month, Japan, or the other competing agency, goes after you in the same month. This would give us a 30% bonus to our science. Gosh, that's really good. We could really use that science too. If we had to postpone for weather, we'd still get second, and look at that. We nothing but more science. I think we go for October. We definitely don't want to go for September, because we have an extra penalty for suboptimal launch windows. Yeah, 29% with 3 astronauts on board. Psh, miss me with that noise. We could forego the bonus science. Let's just look at payload reliability. We could bring our payload reliability up to 78%, which now puts us at, yeah, plus 18% payload reliability. That increases the odds that we would get a successful 50% bonus rewards for the mission. That might actually be more important than the science reward. I think our launch reliability at 69% is pretty good. I think we go for the payload reliability, push ourselves up in the higher bracket. More successes means better chance of bonus objectives, and bonus objectives is 50%, win rate. I think that's where we want to be. Confirmed mission to launch. The next mission now that we need, orbital radio. Let's see, we're already doing the life support test. Yep, that's in the works. The requests on the moon, again, nothing really that major. We don't really have many other milestones researched. We sort of need to circle back around and start doing some of these, or else we're never going to get past this gate. And we need to get to this. So I think once the PR office is done, as much as I wanted to get to the visitors center, I think we miss that and we go down this path here. We crunch down here. I think that's the right call. All right, so we have no real mission to speak of. No, we should. Hold on. We only have 2 active missions going. We should do the other one. We don't have a lot of money, though, so we need kind of a cheaper mission. This is going to be pretty cheap. A basic orbital satellite. Basic satellite. Higher task requirements, higher rewards. This one is better support. Support or science. Honestly, I'd rather do the orbital radio. We'll just send a standard payload on this one. Okay. Next month. PR office research is complete. Wonderful. And the life support test payload is ready to go. No change. I'd rather see no change than a bad change. I'm just going to throw that out there. Now, the best design for this vehicle for this mission is going to be the Salty Pix design. So we will confirm that one. Perhaps, actually, we need a new contractor. We're not getting any support for this mission, so we could use X-Star Avionics. We don't worry about the loss of support. It just makes the rocket cheaper. Generating science, that doesn't matter either. Or we could make it way cheaper. I think we just take the 8 months is longer. It's only 7 months. It's 1 extra month. Yeah, for a big cost reduction. Yep. We're gonna actually subcontract Astronautica on this one. It's kind of nice having those contractor options. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of really, really nice. What are we looking at? We have the PR office. We don't have the money for this one yet, but we will. We will. Let's set our research. I think we need to double down over here so that we can race to commercial satellite at this point. It's just a thing we need to do. So we're going to start with the satellite imaging mission, and this will give us a few more milestones to knock out on other places, which will open up more requests, which will give us more rewards. So it's a feedback loop. International Geophysical Year, a global initiative to gain more geophysical data on the Earth, is taking place in 3 years' time. Organizers have requested your agency launches a satellite to collect the data. You will be expected to complete the satellite imaging mission within 3 years. Oh, let's go. We get money immediately and more money if we're successful. Yes, please. I accept these terms. Orbital radio payload, only the vehicle boosters reliability. That's fine. Orbital EVA. This one is to go first. This one is to beat Japan. Look at that. High payload reliability, reasonable launch reliability. This one's got Dark Star and Kid Caliber and Oriya on board. Let's go. The conditions look good. Another launch of the I Like Sugar model rocket or model vehicle, which is getting more reliable. 8% is below the 10% threshold. We're go for launch. Let's do it. Come on. We've needed a first milestone. We haven't had one in a while. This is big. This is going to be real big. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. We did it. We got up in orbit. Now we have the more reliable. Oh, what? Payload reliability 10% with a flawless ascent. Finally, things are breaking our way. Veteran difficulty is not easy by any means. It is very challenging, but it looks like we're finally going to hit something really good, because all we have to do is achieve Earth orbit. We built the extra large payload to carry a third crew member. We have extra power from Dark Star. We start with 1 comms and from Kid Caliber, and then of course the bonus science from Oriya. This is going to be a good mission. I can feel it. I can feel it. Let's start with we'll do a flight path control. We'll put Kid Caliber behind the controls. And then look, we have the third crew member. We can also do manual data collection with Oriya and Dark Star, which makes sense. They are the scientist and the electrician. And then I think a ground control connection is in order. And look at that. We haven't even hardly spent any of our energy in our battery. We're going to have to step up those navigation bits, though. We're going to need a lot of flyover course adjustments, perhaps. Maybe instead we do an orbital realignment, because that gives us more navigation for 1 data. Yeah, we need to start choosing things that are going to give us extra navigation. Look at the window for success. Kid Caliber at the controls, doing good. Dark Star and Oriya working well together. Good data collection. We'll get an orbital realignment. Oh, the payload reliability is amazing. Amazing. Let's get a flyover course adjustment 1, 2, 3 times in a row, please. Look at that. That's going to put us in a good place. Flyover course adjustment. First looks good. Second looks good. You're still on course. Maintain. That's a good adjustment. Ground control has you doing just perfect. Let's get some manual data collection between Oriya and Dark Star, and then maybe another flight path control from Kid Caliber, and then we'll put a little bit more energy in the battery. We'll just go with a data transmission. Yeah, we'll just go with a data transmission. How copy? I think that's going to work. Manual data collection from Oriya and Dark Star is good. Kid Caliber behind the controls. Of course. That's why you're behind the controls. Crew are working particularly well with mission control. Extra data. All right, well, we were bound to have a malfunction. No space mission goes according to plan. Minor solar flare has caused a burst of static overwhelming the transmission. I think we just accept these terms because we got the extra data from Kid Caliber, so we had it to spare. It's not a factor really. Then from here we do have a flyover course adjustment. That's not enough. Take it back. So we do an orbital realignment, a flyover course adjustment, and then we put a charge in the battery, and we're in. We are in. That's a good orbital realignment. Flyover course adjustment. Let's go. Efficient thrust maneuvers led to a larger window for data transmission. Now we have to conduct the EVAs. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. So now we have a drift window. Oh, -2 to +2. That's not too bad. We're trying to get 13 data and 13 comms. Okay, let's start with a flight path control from Kid Caliber, and then Araya and Darkstar, you guys will do some manual data collection, followed by some visual spectrum sampling. That puts us in a good spot, and that zeroes out our drift. Let's do that. Kid behind the controls, as usual, looking good. Data collection, Orion Darkstar, guys conducting experiments, that's good. Visual spectrum sampling, and of course keeping the equipment up to fully operating parameters enables proper visual spectrum sampling. I think at this point, let's see, we're going to need more data, so we could do some visual spectrum sampling here, some manual data collection there. If we get Orion Darkstar to continue the manual data collection, that's going to put us right where we need to be with the comms. It zeroes out our drift. So then the only other thing we need maybe is some infrared mapping. That offsets our drift a little bit, but I think it's correctable. So let's stick with it. More sampling of the visual spectrum, and we'll have Darkstar and Orion collect all the data from that sampling. And then we'll map the ionosphere here with infrared. Okay, it did offset the drift ever so slightly. I'm not that worried about it though, because okay, so we need it on the front end. We need visual spectrum sampling, followed by, hold on. We can go flight, we can put Kid behind the controls, and then send a data transmission. Then do visual spectrum sampling, and then we're in. We're in already before we even get to the last turn. And the drift is 0. Let's go. Kid behind the controls, that's what I'm talking about. Good data. We'll send that data down to ground control. They've got a good reading on your comm. I'll take one last map of the visual spectrum. Helped correct our drift. And we're ready to rock. Let's go for controlled re-entry. Payload precision, look at that. All right, so we got 3 crew members again, trying to get 13 comms, 13 nav, and manage our heat. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. I think the first thing is to... Oh, look at this. These are our only ways to mitigate heat are from the crew. Let's put Kid behind the controls. And then I'm thinking we'll do ground control connection. And maybe a flyover course adjustment. It's probably the right action. We're going to have a lot of success with the payload. We need to remember that. So we have Kid at the controls. We'll get a good connection with ground control. And then they're going to give us a flyover course correction, an adjustment, and we made it. Payload performed well. We're going to have fluctuating heat. Whoa, we took a sharp dive into the atmosphere. So let's get the manual data collected from Orion and Darkstar. And then We need to conduct some experiments and then give that data back to ground control. I think that's the right call. So, manual data collection from Orion and Darkstar, pivotal to getting that heat down. And we'll have Kid conduct some experiments. Yep. Figure out why we changed our trajectory so rapidly. And then we'll get a good connection with ground control. Probably going to send them some of that data in the next round of commands. Fluctuating heat. Oh my gosh, we keep getting the maximum value of heat fluctuation. Could be because we have the extra crew member. I think the best thing to do is a manual data collection and then send that data down. I think that's the right call. After that, we could do a flyover course adjustment, and we're kind of in. If this goes without a hitch, we have completed our reentry a turn early. So Orion and Darkstar doing great with the manual data. Keep it up. We'll send that data down to ground control. Got a good comm check. And then flyover course adjustments. We were bound to have an error eventually. But we have plenty of power to resist this malfunction and get all the navigation data that we needed. Heat is fine. Boom. We have a successful re-entry, and we are the first to complete a vehicle EVA mission. We beat Japan by just mere weeks, but we beat them. Maybe now they'll take us a little more seriously as a space agency and not take it for granted that they can just be first in everything. We really needed this one, guys, and I couldn't have done it without you. You guys did an amazing job. We had a good crew. We had a good payload. We had a good ground control team. Yes, a first. We needed that so bad. But see here, so I'm just going to throw it out there because I am happy to get first, but it's only 255 support. So again, losing it is not the end of the world. 6-month recuperation. For me, personally, the biggest reason to try to get first or second is to meet this challenge here. 25% building research cost reduction for 6 months. Like, let's go. That's big. 1,400 a month. Whoa, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. We could do a control systems check. I don't know how I feel about that. So we only have one mission slot available, and I kind of think it should be the... Where are we at, actually? We need to push down. If we're gonna... We can't unlock any of this. We're gated until we push all the way down. So we have to research this side of the tree. We can pretty much bypass the animal in space. There's no reason to even go back to that at this point, unless... I mean, 5% payload reliability. We can go back to do that when we're overflowing with science. We're not there yet, so. Do we have the money to build the PR office yet? Let's go ahead and do that. I think that's an important one. Oh, it's too much money. There's just not a good place to build this thing that doesn't... We could... I mean... There's just not a good place to build this thing. We could build it over here. Okay, to be fair, we could build it over here. It gets an adjacency penalty, not even an adjacency bonus, but an adjacency penalty. Is there maybe a better place for this that would get maybe a better adjacency bonus over there? But that's going to cost us a ton of money to remove that. So yeah, this also costs a lot. I think we're just waiting for now. The truth is we're going to get a... let's see. We can use the TGM rocket for the satellite radio, and I think we are going to do that because that is the proper... Can we maybe get more science out of it? We could squeak more science out of it for a little bit more money. I think that may be the right call. potentially. I think that's the right call. We'll contract this one out. And now we need one more mission to conduct. We could do the life support test, but that's already going. We're going to build that vehicle right now. I don't know why we haven't been building that one, honestly. And then we just need to start looking at milestones. Still, nobody has got to the crewed moon landing, but of course, Japan has researched everything they need to start mission planning for it. Goodness. And we have not. We have an entire side of the research tree to go, so probably gonna miss that one, but maybe we'll get second. We could do a control systems check for the science, and I think actually we will do that. We will do that. So if we're gonna have low payload reliability, we should build the one with extra power in its batteries. It does change the cost a little bit, but I think it's necessary because we're dealing with a... Look at that 35%. Oh, that hurts. It's an experimental payload, but more science. So we're going to go ahead and take it. We'll begin construction on that. All right, next month. Extravehicular photography. Photographs taken by your astronaut Darkstar during a recent EVA have featured on the front pages of several newspapers. The spacewalks seem to have captured the public's imagination. An Earth observation satellite equipped with a variety of sensors. Right. That's going to give us the next funding bracket for sure. Oh, and Japan completed the orbital EVA right after us, but they did get commercial satellite first. That's going to give them a lot of money. They're going to start to run, like they are going to run away. They are going to start to really push past us. We have to keep the pressure on. The Venus Impactor is cheaper than the Mars Flyby, research-wise, so I think we take it. I think we skip the Mars Flyby for now. Even though we will eventually need it. Following the success of your orbital EVA mission, Japan have requested that your agency shares the scientific data obtained during the mission. Their representatives have reminded you that Japan shared their own data in the past. Being allied with them does give us a science boost. I think we deny the request, and here's why. Here's why. Your agency refused to share the obtained data. Japan have reacted negatively to the decision, saying they need to reevaluate our relationship. Okay, Venus Impactors researched. Let's... there's a lot happening, but we need to slow it down for a minute. Our TGM rocket is ready. No effect. That's fine. For mission, we're going to obviously do science mission, and we're just going to push it out to max benefit in May. We'll select a launch date. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Now, the reason I was thinking to myself we don't need to give the science to Japan, aside from the fact they're ahead of us, is we were so allied with them, like it was pegged. It was like maximum relationship with Japan. And we can afford to... I don't want to say we, like, punched them in the teeth, but we kind of did by denying to give them science, and we're still allied. Like we had that much reputation that we could afford to stiff arm them a little bit. So, okay. That being said, let's continue our research down to the payload Mariner, and let's get our funding review. Oh, that's so much support. Let's go. It's good. It's good. That's what we needed. Mm-hmm. Booster build time, upper stage build time. It doesn't matter because our payload reliability is still hot garbage. If Salty Pix will work, that's the cheaper rocket. Let's go ahead and use that one. Contractor. We could make it cheaper for less support, or we could make it cheaper for taking longer. I think that's the right call. That's a lot cheaper for only 1 month longer. So let's use Astronautica. Yeah, I accept these terms. Japan and the ESA completed the Mercury orbit. Is that really... Well, I guess that's not that far ahead of where we're at on the left side of the tree, but really we need to get to the crewed moon landing. Although I think we have to do the commercial satellite first, honestly. It's a tough call because we have the human endeavor, so we would get a lot of science from the crewed moon landing. But the funding, you can't argue with 3.5 mil. Like, there's no arguing with that. Ideally, we would do both. Even though this bracket only requires 1 to progress. See, and this requires 2. Space satellite is all about the science. Science. And then you need 3 from here. And then you need both of those. So eventually you have to meet back up. But my thought process is moving forward that we want to push through the space station. Skylab, modular space station, more modular space station, more and just keep pushing through the modular space station over and over and over and over and over again, and try to be first in as much of this as possible. That's what I'm thinking. That way we'll have a robust astronaut pool. But we can't get anywhere until we get some of these scientific missions researched so we can get to the commercial satellite, because we need the money. We just straight up need the money. Venus Impactor 4th. Yeah, we're a little behind on the exploration side of sending out probes, but it looks like that's probably a good place to wrap it up. I do hope you've had a good time watching, because as always, I've had a good time playing. Until next time, take care.